You're listening to Operation Self Reset with Kute Blackson. You are the one. What is going on, you freaking awesome people? This is Jake Naraki. Welcome back to another great episode of Operation Self Reset. I'm here to motivate, inspire, and to get you to change just a little bit. And speaking about pressing that reset button, truly, the gentleman that we have on today's show, Kute Blackson, honestly will rock your world. He has written a book called You Are the One. It is absolutely brilliant, absolutely geared to get you inspired, and absolutely written to put you on the path towards your bliss, your passion, your purpose, your success, your happiness, whatever it may be. Honestly, it's an inspiring book that makes you realize that honestly we have more to give than what we're giving. And I'm not going to say honestly again because I think I'll be saying it 3 times in a row. But nonetheless, thank you for taking the time to educate your brain. As people have said to me once before, pop those vitamins for your body and your brain so you can get on the right path towards success. And so today, like I said, we have a guest, we have Kute. But before I dive into that, we need to do what we do best. Oh my gosh, Jake. I can't do it. I can't do the I'm freaking awesome, man. You do this every single week. I honestly cannot continue to believe that I'm freaking awesome. Jake, you don't know where I've been. You don't know my story. You don't know who I am. You don't know what I've done. You don't know what I've seen. I'm not that awesome of a person. Well, I'm here to tell you, no matter your story, your beliefs, or the way that you were raised, or the way that you are, each and every one of us is truly freaking awesome. And it's about time you rise up to that standard of freaking awesomeness to represent your true self. Sure, none of our pasts have been amazing and brilliant and just warm and cuddly. All of us had gone through something. And it's about time that you finally stand up for what you believe is right. And what you believe is right is educating yourself in this moment right now. And it's to scream on the top of your lungs that I'm freaking awesome. Not because it's silly and goofy and it makes us laugh, which it does, but because it's about time that you stand up for your internal being. That little person inside of you that is screaming, that is holding on to those bars that you put around it, shaking it, going, let me out, to that true self that can be brought out through a simple phrase, 3 simple words. I'm freaking awesome. And it's about time you scream it with me because I'm sick and tired of you guys not doing it, because I know you guys driving, riding your bike, doing all the craziness. You're choosing not to do it because you think it's silly. Stop thinking it's silly and just react. This podcast is designed to help you. And so here we go. We're going to stand in a position of power, chest out, shoulder blades back, arms overhead, fingers out, rock the bullhorns, thumbs up, pinkies out, fingers moving around, spiritual fingers, whatever they say in the SNL skit. And we're going to raise our chin and move our voice to the heavens and scream, I'm freaking awesome because you deserve it, I deserve it, and let's do this. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. I'm freaking awesome! Woo! Yes, that was maybe my most intense scream because I have a lot of things to say to myself, that I'm freaking awesome for, and maybe I'm going to get on my soapbox here a little bit. But as you may know, this is game time. This is game week for myself. This is Self-Reset Power Week. This is where I have finally come out of my own ashes to rise up and to say, you know what? I'm going to do the seminar, and it's going to rock the house. And this weekend, I'm so jacked. I'm so excited for what I have in store for the individuals that are going to be participating in my first ever seminar. And I am so blessed, so honored, and so ready. It feels like I've been waiting for this moment my whole life, and getting up to this moment was not easy. I will raise my hand. At first, I was like, January 1st, I'm going to create a seminar. And then February 18th came, and I was like, all right, I'll take a little break. I won't think about it. And then March came, and I was like, you know what? I'll just move it until next year. And then April came. I'm like, all right, I'm going to do this. And then about mid-May, I was like, you know what? Who's really going to come? And I went on this roller coaster, ups and downs. And it wasn't until end of July that I was like, all right, it's official. I think I always knew I was going to do it, but I finally just decided. It clicked within me for some reason, somehow. It's on, and I'm just pumped, and I'm so blessed, and I'm so happy. And today is a great representation of that feeling in all of us. There is that thing that is special to each and one of us, and the problem is, and the hardship is what is that thing for you? I don't know what it is. I really don't. I believe I have found my path. I have found my bliss, my enjoyment, my joy. And once you find that, oh man, honestly, there are times you will cry just because you're just so happy and so excited and so in your zone. It's the weirdest feeling. And I hope that this conversation with Kute can hopefully inspire you to find that within yourselves. Sure, yeah, is a half an hour going to change your life? No, but it's a springboard, a leapfrog, a skip, hop, and a jump towards that person that all of us should be, but we choose not to live in that realm. And so, Kute Blackson, again, wrote the book, You Are the One, inspiring, brilliant, and freaking awesome. And last end cap here before we dive into the interview. Tomorrow morning, I am going to be on a local news channel here doing a firewalk in my backyard. They're going to be interviewing. I got 3 different segments, and I am just so blessed, so fired up, and I am just tickled pink of the road that I have conquered. And this is not to toot my own horn and to say, look at me, wows me. And you may be thinking, well, Jake, obviously this is because for the last 10 minutes you've been talking about yourself. But this is not to impress you. This is to impress upon you that anything is possible, literally, period, end of story, drop the mic, I'm out of here. Anything is possible if you choose to follow through, if you choose to remove the distraction, if you choose to follow the path that is less traveled. Once you do that, I am telling you, the doors will blow open. The path is set. You will figure it out. If there's a will, there's a way. All those famous lines, I'm telling you. Please, for the sake of yourself, for the sake of your family, your kids, your coworkers, the well-being of this planet Earth, do your magic. And that magic is something that is caught within you. I don't know what it is, but hopefully Kute can awaken the beast and let you out of the cage. So here is a great interview with my man, Kute Blackson. Hey guys, welcome back to Operation Self Reset. Today we honestly have an awesome author. Great video. We were just talking about this off mic. He is the author of You Are the One, Kute Blackson. From my man, I appreciate your time. Thanks for getting in contact with me. Your book came out June 7th of this year, obviously creating waves in helping people, I guess, find their passion, purpose, and driving them forward into taking action. And honestly, anybody that's listening right now, head on over to You Are the One, check out the book trailer, go on Google, whatever, it's all over the place. Brilliant video that will make you inspired. Kute, my man, thanks for coming on.
It's great to be here, brother. I'm looking forward to chatting with you.
Yes, so give us, obviously, you come from a high and low background, and I don't know where to really take it, but if you don't mind giving us the Cliff Note version of how you got to creating this book.
Sure. Yeah, I was born in Ghana, West Africa. My father's from Ghana. My mother's Japanese. I grew up in London, so I've always felt like I was a citizen of the world. I live in Los Angeles right now and get to travel the world sharing a message of inspiration and love and helping people live their deepest truth, live who they really are. And so, my first memories really as a young boy, kind of how the book came about, a little backstory, was literally 2 things. I always felt a deep calling to serve humanity. I remember being age 5, feeling this burning desire to be of service, to help inspire people in some way. But also, my background was, as a little kid, I was a chubby little kid, and I remember being lost in the crowd in Ghana, West Africa, and seeing a crippled woman crawling on the floor. And she picks up the sand that this man walks on, wipes on her face, and stands up. So week after week, Jake, I grew up seeing, I'm talking like blind people seeing, deaf people hearing, people standing up out of wheelchairs, miracles, so to speak. And the man whose sand she picked up was my father. He built 300 churches in Ghana, West Africa. He built a huge church in London. He was a very spiritual, mystical guy and an amazing human being. And so from age 8, my first memories was literally I grew up with this sense that anything was possible. From age 8, I started speaking in my father's churches. 14, I was ordained as a minister, literally given the mandate to take over his entire operation. A lot of hopes on me, hundreds of thousands of people, looking to me for guidance and inspiration. But I knew, Jake, that my life wasn't my path, basically. And I went along with it because, as a 14-year-old kid, I wanted my dad's love. I wanted his acceptance. I didn't want to rock the boat. So I had this sort of expected life, the path that was carved out for me, everyone else's expectations. This is who I was supposed to be, take over my father's churches. But deep in my heart, I knew the truth. I knew that wasn't the deepest truth in my heart. And it took me about I said nothing. It took me about 4 years to even muster up the courage. And I think many times, most of us, we know the truth. We know the truth of our being, but we're often afraid to acknowledge the truth. We're often afraid to live the truth because we're afraid of the consequences. If I really acknowledge the truth of what I feel in my heart, then what will happen? Maybe I'll quit my job or lose my job, and how will I survive? Maybe I'll have to acknowledge the truth that this relationship isn't quite right for me. So what we often do is we lie to ourselves, we BS ourselves, we distract ourselves, we settle, we live in denial, we rationalize the truth of our being. And I think what I found out that there's no way to really attain success in the deepest sense, in terms of fulfillment, being truly happy, unless you're being truthful. So, it took me 4 years to muster up the courage. But during that time, too, I became obsessed with personal growth. I read my first personal growth book when I was age 8 and started asking myself the questions. From 8 to 18, I read like 800 books and started to ask myself the questions, who am I and why are we here? And what's the purpose of life, and what's the purpose of this whole thing that we're all living? Is it just to go to work, make money, die, and that's it? Surely there must be more. Right. So that was my quest. And so 18, I left everything behind and ended up winning a green card in the lottery, and that was a sign from the universe that I was on the right path. And it was tough because my father and I, we didn't speak for about 2 years, but I came to the US in search of answers, and from there traveled the world to India, to Thailand, to Indonesia, to Israel, to northern Spain, walked the Camino, really seeking to get in touch with the truth for myself. And it was really out of that quest that you could say, tapped into certain realities and answers and wanted to share that with the world. So over the last 15 years or so, 14, 15 years, I've had the privilege of coaching, everyone from, I'd say, billionaires, athletes, celebrities, people you would have heard of, to regular folks, to kids, to mothers, to salespeople. And it's really been about not so much coaching you, but what I really do is I uncoach people, I unteach people, I untrain people, so that you can really get in touch with who you really are and live that with the world. So that's the Cliff Notes.
Yeah, right on, man. Obviously, great story, and it's magical to have you in our presence and sharing your wisdom with my audience. The question I have, just you kind of hit on it at the end there. You coach for everybody from billionaires to athletes to whoever. What is the reoccurring theme with these individuals? You know what I mean? Like, we're all human, right? We all have problems. We all have victories. We all have sadness, all those things. And obviously the money is not the dividing factor, but what is the thing that brings all of the humanity together that you just see time and time again?
I think there's a couple of things. One of them I kind of touched on a little bit, but just to go a little deeper into it is,
sure.
One thing I've seen that keeps us all stuck, literally a recurring theme I see all the time, are the ways that we lie to ourselves, all the ways that we don't tell the truth to ourselves, all the things that we are pretending to not know, all the things that we are hiding, we are denying within ourselves. As children, what I've seen as a theme is we're born free. If you look at a child, the child will jump on the table, they have a light in their eyes, they're in touch with their essence, the infinite expression of the universe is flowing through them. A child will sing, dance, they don't have too much self-consciousness and fear. They'll run up to someone and just give them a hug, and they'll dance and they'll sing, and they don't care, am I fat, do you like how I sing? They'll just express themselves. But as a child goes through life, a child is born, and then we deal with our parents, or we meet our crazy parents, some of which are all interesting and unique. Some are really out there, and we deal with pain, trauma, abuse, divorce, neglect. We all have our stories and our woundings, True. So we're these amazing beings, but then we slowly we start to, as a way to function and survive, what I've seen as a humanity is we start to disconnect. We start learning all sorts of defense mechanisms as a way to shut down, to not feel the pain of whatever it is that's going on around us. So we start suppressing our emotions, suppressing our feelings. We start numbing parts of ourselves just to function, survive, to not feel the pain. Secondly, what I've seen as a whole that creates the whole limitation and conditioning is we go into life and, dealing with our parents and life and society and school and what have you. We start developing a mechanism, developing a mask, a persona in terms of, who do I need to be in order to be loved by my dad? Who do I need to be in order to fit in, to be accepted, to be validated? So we start contorting and developing a way of being, a persona, a personality that we develop, but to get love, validation, approval, but it starts to disconnect us from our fullest expression. We start being who we think we need to be in order to fit in, and so we develop a whole way of conditioning, and we really identify with this person that we become, thinking that's who we really are. And it's not who we really are. It's who we've learned to be in order to function and survive. So I like to ask people the question, is who you are who you really are? Because the degree to which we're conditioned is the degree to which we're not really free. So as a whole, as a humanity, what I've seen that blocks the fullest expression of who we really are, that blocks, our ability to be ourselves and express the truth, is we become conditioned, but many times we don't even know that we're conditioned. We think that's who we are. So we have to start becoming aware of our conditioning. We have to start questioning our conditioning. Questioning, is this what I believe? Is this what I know to be true? We have to start being willing to tell the truth. One of the things we can start doing is acknowledging, what are the things we're pretending to not know? We also have to start being willing to feel the things that we have learned to suppress, to just survive. And often what works for us when we're 5 and 8 and 10 and 12, as a survival mechanism, starts getting in the way of our ability to be free, our ability to be intimate. We learn to become the nice person, the know-it-all, the caretaker. There's all sorts of masks that we learn to wear, essentially, to fit in. So I think that many times clients come to me, and maybe those listening can relate, come to me because they're stuck in a certain way, but they're not aware of, or they're not conscious of why, because they're stuck in a persona, they're stuck in an identity. So I think we to me, freedom is a process of becoming conscious and aware. We have to start becoming conscious and aware.
For sure. A couple of things you hit on, that mask that we all wear, there's a lot of celebrities, that are kind of caught in these masks, and that's why they overdose and they suicide and all this crazy stuff, because they have to be that funny guy. I'm a big Chris Farley fan. I don't know if you knew him. He's from Wisconsin, so I love him to death. He was the big, fat, funny guy, and everywhere he went, everybody expected him to be big, fat, funny, and he just couldn't handle it, and he overdosed on drugs, and it's really sad. And to recap what you said, so once we understand that we're conditioned into this being, and to get out of that, to strip down those layers, first of all, we need to be aware, we need to question, we need to tell the truth, we need to feel. And so the question that I have for you is, one thing that I'm doing, I'm preparing for my own seminar, and one thing I'm going through is questioning. How do we ask the right questions to get those right answers?
I think that just the willingness to recognize that we are conditioned, because for the most part, we don't realize that we're conditioned. We think, no, this is who I am, is really what I am. This is just me. So I think to start asking the question, wait a second, is who I am really who I am? Are these my thoughts? Is this what I really believe? Because often, if you really look at let's say what you believe in terms of relationship, or what you believe about money, or what you believe about the opposite sex, or love, or abundance, or the world, or yourself even, if we start looking at those voices in your mind, we have to start questioning, is this my voice? Is this is this what I believe? Does this actually belong to me? Can I know this to be true? Often we take the stories that we've created as fact. I'm not enough, I'm unlovable, whatever it is we've made up, and we don't question. So just the act of questioning, wait a second, is that true? Can I know that for sure? Whose thought is that? Does that actually belong to me? Is that fact, or is it fiction? Because often we're living a fiction as though it's fact and as though it's reality about ourselves, and it's not. So I think asking some of those questions can be really powerful. What are the truths I'm not telling? What are the lies I'm telling? In terms of the truth, there's like a few questions I have that people can ask themselves listening in, if they're like wondering, well, how do I tell the truth to myself about what I feel and what's going on? So number one, ask yourself, what are the lies that I'm telling? And somebody might say, well, I'm not really sure. I'm not really telling any lies. Then I'd say, well, what is it that you're pretending? What is it you're pretending to not know? What is it you're pretending that you don't know, that you really do know? Because deep down, we all have a sense of how we're lying to ourselves, but we're often invested in the life that we have. We have to be willing to let go of who we've been and the life that we have to experience something more. The third thing is really looking at, well, what is it costing me to be this way? What is it costing me to live the lie? What is it costing me? And feel the pain of that and experience the pain of that, because then that can start a process. Then we can also ask ourselves, well, what is it that I'm really afraid will happen if I tell the truth? Because many times we're afraid of looking at the truth, facing the truth, questioning ourselves, because we're afraid of what? Sometimes we don't even know what we're afraid of. But if we can, two things, if we can look at what we're afraid of and just face it, many times we can make peace with, well, if that thing I'm afraid of actually happened, I could deal with that. I could manage that. And so that's the first thing. What we're often really afraid of is we're afraid of not being loved. We're afraid of being alone. We're afraid of being abandoned, ultimately being alone. So in essence, we end up abandoning ourselves. And even if we're with that person or we're with a group of people, we're still alone inside of ourselves, and it's not really fulfilling. So we have to look at what is it I'm really afraid of. But the last thing I'd say is look at what great thing might actually happen. What amazing thing might actually happen by telling the truth, because we're often focused on the negative. So I think those are a few questions we get to ask ourselves. But self-inquiry, the willingness to question and challenge oneself, to really question, is it true? Is that, I think, the underlying essence, because many times we don't question our thoughts, we don't question our beliefs, we realize they've been passed down to us. They're based on meanings and stories that we made up often at a very young age, out of survival, to just deal with life, to make sense of the situation. So when we can start questioning, wait a second, is that true? I think then things can start changing. Then we can start recreating new meanings for ourselves and creating new interpretations. And the meaning we give things really determines our reality.
Oh, for sure. I think great explanation. And, to go off of that, the questions are obviously very important, but it kind of relates back to, where we began. And you said something that was kind of surprising. You said age 5, you felt a desire to serve. And there's a lot of people that are listening to this podcast, in their mid-30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, it doesn't matter, that, the classic question is, well, how the heck do I know what I'm, made for? What am I designed for? Right. And obviously, I think that goes into your book of, you are the one, but, can you open the eyes of somebody that feels so blind when they hear those comments?
Yeah, I think, look, two things. I think there is in terms of finding one's purpose, what we're here to do, I would say this. There is sometimes a myth, I think, in personal growth, that you have to figure it all out up front. You have to kind of, have your mission statement figured out, your purpose statement figured out, put it on a piece of paper, wrap it up in a nice bow, and be crystal clear on what it is and the form of what it's meant to look like.
True.
I think that's a myth. And what often happens is many people never start. They never begin because they're like, well, Jake, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. Right. I don't know. And that could be an unconscious excuse, by the way, so to just eliminate that, just know you don't have to know exactly the specific form. But I think what's important is that you acknowledge, because I think if you're listening to this conversation with Jake and I, that you have to acknowledge that there is, just the fact you're listening, there is an inkling, there's something that is seeking to be given birth, an impulse of life. And I believe that your dreams choose you. Your dreams choose you because you're the perfect person who is able to fulfill it based on all of your experience, all of your life, all of your failures, all of your successes, everything. So here's what I would say. Feel what you're most passionate about. Feel what excites you. Feel what lights you up. And at least if you don't know consciously, move in that direction. When I say move in that direction, take a step. And then take another step. And then take another step. Obviously, if you're 2'1", and your passion is basketball, that's unlikely to be your path. But I'm going to explain, right, how you can really probably by the end of this conversation find out at least where you should go. So I say take a step, take another step, take another step, because what I've found is your purpose is often revealed to you in the process of life itself. Each step will reveal to you the next step. You don't have to have it figured out all up front. So just be in motion, be in action. Life will meet you in the point of action. If you look at people like Oprah or Obama or the reality, creator guru Mark Burnett, who, launched reality TV, all of these, none of them had an idea that that's what they were going to do. I'm telling regardless of what your political, ideology is, I'm sure Obama had no idea he was going to be president. I'm sure Oprah had no idea she was going to be one of the richest women in the world. But they took a step in the direction. Here's one thing I'll say, and I'm going to pose 3 or 4 questions that will help people figure out what their purpose is. Many times we feel this inkling, I'm here for something big, I'm here to do something great, but we don't take action. And one of the unconscious things I have seen as to why we don't take action, it's an egoic protection mechanism, because there's this sense of, if I don't really take action, Jake, if I don't really go for it, if I don't really take action, I'm in motion and I'm going in a direction, then it can never really happen. And if it can never really happen, then I don't have to really risk failure. I don't have to really risk my dream not working out. I can always have my vision, dream, or I can always live in fantasy of this thing that's a possibility out there, and I don't have to risk the reality of what might happen if I really go for it. So we have to be willing to risk, and we have to be willing to go for it. And I believe that success is never a straight line. Your purpose and the manifestation of your purpose is never a straight line. It's a zigzag we have to tack. So if you're unclear, well, what should I do? Which direction? Look at a few things. Look at your experience. Look at everything that you've been through, the experiences that you've had. What have you been through in your life? Look, I'm teaching people in different ways, traveling the world, all over the world. I'm on the road nonstop. I'm writing books. Obviously, I love cars, but I'm not a Formula One driver. That's not the direction, because if I look at my experience, that's not really in alignment with my experience. So I believe your experience are the ingredients that the universe, life, God, the intelligence, whatever label you want to put on it, your experiences are really the ingredients that life has used to marinate and prepare you to do what you're here to do. Every failure, every success, every heartbreak, everything has perfectly made you to be the vessel and the vehicle who can pull off the purpose and the vision. So look at your experience, because that will give you clues. Look at what you're gifted at. Look at what your gift, in other words, what comes naturally to you. What comes naturally to you, like you can just do it. I have a client, she came to one of my events, and she's brilliant with numbers. Numbers turn her on. I mean, she just lights up, and I know lots of people who hate numbers. It comes naturally to her. So that's just, that's something. Third thing is look at what problems are you easily, uniquely able to solve? Because I believe the ability to make money in the world, the ability to be successful in the world, is in direct proportion to your ability to add value to people. And what has value to people is when you're able to solve a problem, pain, or challenge. So if you look at what problems are you naturally able to solve, some people just have a natural knack for technology. Some people have I have a natural knack to help decode where people are stuck and help create processes that are able to free you, no matter whether it's one-on-one, 20 on, 1 on 20 or a 500. I have that knack, so I'm not racing cars. So look at what problems you are naturally able to solve, because that will be of value to someone else who is facing that problem, pain, or challenge. So look at that. That's the third thing. The last thing I'll say is look at which community, which groups of people you naturally have an affinity towards. Maybe you feel a connection to animals. Maybe you feel a connection to young children. Maybe you feel a connection to the blind, the elderly. Likely, I believe that those groups of people you have an affinity towards is also showing you part of where your purpose might lie, because you have a natural connection. Maybe you've been touched by them because of your childhood. Maybe you have some people believe in past lives. Who knows? Maybe you have a karmic connection. Whatever the connection is, that's also showing you, that's giving you a clue of where your natural purpose may lie. It's like, well, I have a connection with, teenagers, or I have a connection with high schoolers, or, whatever it is that's showing you. Awesome. And that's a clue as to where your purpose may be. So I'd say look there and see what unfolds.
Well, I think for you, I think I found your purpose is that I think you should go around and spreading this message because you're pretty good at it. So you should look into that, my man. Great stuff, great information. Honestly, my gosh, this time is flying by. Just two more questions left.
Yeah, let's go for it.
You said you came from a church atmosphere, a faith background, but yet you also included the universe. Now, for me personally, I'm a big universe, theorist, but also too, there's individuals that are listening to this that either don't believe in it, don't trust it, think it's weird, kind of like the quote unquote secret. Where's the balance, and where should we flow with it?
I mean, don't trust what? The universe? Here's the thing. Whether you trust the universe or not, it doesn't really matter, my friends. That's what I would say, because all I would say is this. If you just right now, if everyone right now, regardless of what your belief is, I just believe in life. I believe in love. That's my belief. But if you look at right now, that just take a deep breath and feel what is happening inside of you. Just that breath. We are being lived and breathed by a force. Yesterday, I was just in Maui, Jake, and I was deep snorkeling underwater and communing with the fish. And I was feeling that, oh my God, this fish is moving. And that same intelligence that's moving the fish is what's breathing me and breathing the small fish and breathing the dolphins and breathing the 7 billion people. There's an intelligence that's living and breathing me. It's living and breathing you. We are being lived by a force, by an intelligence, whatever you call it. That's the same force that birthed creation billions of years ago. It's the same force that is functioning and functioning the sun, the moon, the stars, the trees, all of creation. Labels? Well, it's just life. So it's like, how can you not trust that? Whatever it is, it's happening in spite of us. And when you and I are gone, it's going to still be continuing. It's been around for billions of years. Trust it or not, it's proving itself moment to moment in every breath we take. And I think, to me, the more we can actually surrender to that reality, trust that you and I, me and you, we are a part of nature. And when we can really surrender to that reality, that's when magic happens. That's when we can realize that we are being lived. And that's when we realize that our dreams, our visions, those dreams and visions we have, they don't even belong to you. They don't belong to Jake. They don't belong to me. They don't belong to John. They don't belong to Susie. They belong to life. It's coming through you and I are just the vessels, and we're a part of nature. And I think when we trust that, then we bring ourselves into the natural flow of grace and synchronicity, and that's where miracles happen, my friend.
Right on. Talking with you, obviously we hit upon the passion, the purpose. We hit upon the universe working with us, and that we're capable of achieving, great things to change and solve problems. The one thing that I think that holds a lot of people back is what's your inner circle going to think of you, your family, your parents, your coworkers, your friends, that judgment, that criticism, the people that are stuck in their own worlds. And when you're trying to get out, what do you say to those types of people that are very conscious of individuals slowing them down or holding them back from being their true selves?
It's pretty simple. I would say, number one, what other people think of you is none of your business. No matter what you do, there's always going to be people that have opinions about you. You could do amazing work in the world. You could do terrible work in the world. You could be a saint on this planet, and there will still be people who think, oh, Jake, who's Jake? He's helping all the poor people. He's feeding all the people. Who does he think? There's always going to be people with opinions, and many people are going to project onto you. See, what people think about you, Jake, reveals more about them than it does about you.
True.
I think what I had to learn is you have to learn to unplug yourself, not just from people's negative opinions, because people are going to project all sorts of things onto you. Sometimes when you reach into your light, when you step into your purpose, when you step into your greatness, sometimes you think you're helping people, but it triggers some people because you're just by you being you're kind of reminding some people of where they're not being themselves, where they're not living their purpose. True. And sometimes a way that people deal with that, rather than saying, wow, I'm so inspired by Jake, is they try and tear you down. They'll try and tear you down to just make themselves feel okay again. So you have to have a vision so big, a vision so bold, that you just actually don't have time for the pettiness of what people think about you. If you have time for to wallow in the pettiness of what people think about you, two things: likely your dream isn't big enough and you got too much time on your hands. Number two, you have to know who you are. And when you know who you are at the depth of your being, when you love yourself, when you acknowledge yourself and you know who you are, then the less you will need other people's validation to give you a sense of self-worth, acceptance, because you accept yourself. And at the end of the day, my friend, life, as you know, life is short. It's over. So the way I see it is, do I want to waste the precious moments of my life, stressing about what people think about me, even if they're my family, when at the end of my life, when I'm on my deathbed, I just won't really care that much.
Yeah, Kute, man, that's amazing presentation and an amazing answer. I love it, dude. What are you grateful for right now?
Wow, I'm grateful to be alive. I was just got back from Maui, and I'm just grateful to be alive, feeling grace each moment. I'm grateful to be able to share this message with the world. I'm really grateful that people are responding to my book and being inspired. I just got the most amazing emails over the last few days, people just being so inspired. I'm so grateful for that, and it's beautiful. Every second of our life, more and more is precious. And it reminds me that, like, every second of life, every moment is a divine moment. This moment is a divine moment. Like, there's no special moment happening out there. Like, this moment is as divine as it gets, because we are being breathed by that intelligence. So, it's just gratitude for life and, gratitude for this moment.
Oh, for sure. Kute, man, you're an awesome individual, and I'm grateful for you and your team reaching out and coming on this podcast. Obviously, your information is top notch, dude. And first of all, you got to love the energy. You bring great energy, and I appreciate your words to inspire my audience. And I think everybody can either look at this podcast as just another episode or truly a start of something great in their own lives. And hopefully this is the leapfrog, the springboard, the slingshot to get you going in the right direction. Kute, my man, how do we find out more about the book? Where are you located? All that fun jazz.
Appreciate that, man. Firstly, it's just been great being with you and just sharing with your community. So thank you for having me on. It's an honor, and for those that feel connected in any way, I would love to hear from you. Where you can find out about my book, and I would just invite you all to check it out. It's a love letter from my heart to the world. You can go to www.youaretheonebook.com. youaretheonebook.com. If you buy it there, there's also amazing free gifts. You get tons of free gifts and videos and training from me. It's also available on Amazon. My main website, www, is Blackson, Kute, Blackson.com. Has all of my info, seminars, and events. There's another event I'm passionate about, which is my trip to Bali. It's a 12-day transformational event. You can go to www.boundlessblissbali.com. And I'm all over, social media, Facebook and Instagram. I hang out a lot on these days. Follow me, check me out, say hi. Would love to hear from as many of you.
Cool, man. And the last question I got for you, this podcast is called Operation Self Reset. What does a self reset mean to you?
What does a self reset mean? I would say a self reset to me means reconnecting with who you really are. Reconnection, because many times we're stuck in the small self, the ego self, the personality self, thinking that's who we are. So I think true reset is a reset to who we really are, which is the infinite nature of our being. To me, that's a real operation, reset.
Awesome, man.
Self-reset.
Well, it's in alignment with your book, your life, your story, and what you give. Kute, man, honestly, great stuff. Great stuff. It's an honor and a privilege, and we'll talk to you soon. Thank you.
Thank you for having me, brother.
Kute, one question for you.
Yes.
What can I do to assist you? We're off mic now.
Okay.
What's one thing I can assist you with personally to, spread your message, to help you in any way?
Yeah, I'm just really on a mission and passionate to serve humanity, and the book is one vehicle, just a simple vehicle that if there's any way you can just spread the word, social media, community, that's just that would be great blessing, brother.
Okay, cool, man. Cool. Hey, well, I honestly, you're doing some awesome stuff. I strive to be like individuals like yourself, and I appreciate your time. So
Thank you, man. Thank you for having me on and being so generous with the interview. And let us know when it's live. We'll share it on my, Facebook and social media. And whenever you're in town, let me know.
You know what? I have a friend in Santa Monica. Where do you lay your head at night in LA?
I'm mainly in downtown these days, but whenever you're here, let me know, bro.
Yes, right on, right on. All right, thank you so much. We'll
Sounds
see ya.
good, friend. Bless you.
Bye.
Take care.
Again, thank you, Kute, for coming on the Operation Self Reset podcast. I truly believe your information is going to rock the world of my listeners. And if you want to do something special for myself and you're not able to come to the seminar and you're not able to dabble in all the other projects that I have going on in the Midwest Milwaukee area, the only thing that I ask of you to do is to literally spread the word of Operation Self Reset. Spread it to somebody that you believe needs it. Spread it to somebody that's down in the dumps that could use a little kick in the old pants. Or give it to somebody that is on the way towards the top and they just need a little more fuel in their tank. This podcast is truly geared for everybody, but who it is not geared for is individuals that choose not to believe the things that Kute says or I say or Megan or all the other previous guests that I have had on. And again, to impress upon you, anything is absolutely possible. And if you are looking for that thing in your life, if you're looking for something greater, I would love to guide you down that path. I truly would. And if you're interested, reach out to me and just send a text message to me and say, Jake, I need to figure out my passion, my purpose, that thing, the bliss, the whatchamacallit, and send me a text to at 414-550-4012. Again, it's 414-550-4012. If you're driving, rewind the tape and listen to it. Send me a text message. I'd love to connect with you, and possibly I'll be thrown on a webinar to make sure that all of us find that thing, because I am, like I said, tickled pink by the road that I'm on. I'm so happy. I'm really so happy. And I hope that you guys can find that within your own life. I'm sorry if I'm maybe a little over the top, but this is game week for me, and I'm just jacked. I'm ready to go. I'm like the horse in the kennel. I'm the dog at the racetrack. I'm the I don't even know. I'm the guy getting ready to jump out of the airplane. Usually people jumping out of the airplane do not want to jump out of the airplane. They're doing it for like a bachelor party or something. But nonetheless, I'm really, really excited. And if you're interested in getting into the Self Reset Power seminar before doors shut, head on over to selfresetpower.com. I appreciate you. I thank you. I believe in you. I trust you. And I know that greatness is within inside of you. It's your choice to let it all hang out by saying 3 simple words. I'm freaking awesome. It's wacky, it's weird, but absolutely life-changing to you and to all the people that you bump into and all the people you serve. Thank you for your time. We'll catch you next week, Wednesday, for another great episode of Operation Self Reset.